All right, guys, so it seems like y'all enjoyed last night's video, so fuck it. We're just going all aboard on the slop train. We're just going to continue keeping this fucking thing moving, all right? Recently, TheOdd1sOut, who's like a giant animation art YouTuber, got canceled for the horrible sin of firing his fucking team of people. That's right. I didn't realize that firing people that you hire, especially freelancers, was something you could now get canceled for, but to be fair, TheOdd1sOut comes from a community where most of his community are children, and they're also gay, which I'm not implying anything by saying that, but I'm just saying, you know, they have a tendency of freaking out a little bit or overreacting whenever normal, real life, adult shit happens. Like, for instance, you hire a team of 20 people and all of a sudden you can't afford to fucking pay them because you've only uploaded 3 videos in a year, so you decide to let them off, right? No, apparently this is a big sin in the LGBT minor fucking art community on Twitter, but I mean, who's surprised? Who could have seen this coming, you know? So this whole situation started when one of the artists that was previously on the TheOdd1sOut animation team let everybody know the entire TheOdd1sOut team has been fired, which means my main source of income is gone. As y'all know, it's about to be the dreaded tax season, and we're about to move. So I'll be doing comms full-time from here on out. I'd like to ask a big favor from y'all to please boost my lovely coworkers' commissions to help support them as well. I've already shared a few of them on Blue Sky. 2026 has started off as a rather perplexing year, but I believe we'll pull through, fingers crossed. And what makes this situation just instantly hilarious is the fact that as soon as this artist comes out and announces to the world that they've been fired by TheOdd1sOut, all of a sudden they put out this second statement saying, hey y'all, don't be taking screenshots of this and posting it online, okay? It's not anyone's business. Whoever posted this on Reddit, please delete it. Please delete my post on Reddit. I know I just told the entire world that a massive YouTuber just fired me and I made it sound super alarming and, you know, crazy, but it's none of your business, guys. Even though I just made it your business, don't spread this anywhere. What was the point of telling everyone this information if you didn't want people to fucking spread it or know about it? What the fuck? And I think you can just see based on this first artist coming out, like the maturity levels that we're dealing with here, right? Other artists came out to talk about this and said, yesterday I lost my job. It was very abrupt. I was the breadwinner of my household and paid most of the bills with this income I no longer have. I'll be pivoting to commissions immediately. And look, not to be that guy, but it's like, damn, like if you were basing your entire income, you know, your bills and stuff like that, you say breadwinner of the household, so that implies that you live with other people, right? If you based not just your income and your livelihood, but other people around you, livelihood and income, off of freelance work for a fucking YouTuber, it's kind of on you, right? Like YouTube is already such a volatile thing to base your income off of. Most people can do it, but we all understand that some months we might be making like $16,000 a month, and other months it might drop down to $4,000. That's just an example, right? YouTube is all over the place. When you rely on things like ad revenue, especially instead of things like Patreon, your income's going to be way up and down. You won't be able to, you know, get an average of what you're actually making. And that volatility is increased so much more when you're not even the YouTuber in question, but you're doing freelance work for another YouTuber. That YouTuber can drop you at any point. You know, it might make sense for him 1 month to hire you, but if it doesn't make sense the next month, you're shit out of luck. And that's not really a bad thing for TheOdd1sOut, obviously. Although to be charitable to the artist, maybe he could have given them more time to fucking understand, you know, the nature of his business and what's going on. Maybe he could have given them more of a heads up. But look, there's obviously better ways to make money on the internet and more stable ways to make money on the internet than freelance work for a YouTuber who has no obligation to just hire you indefinitely and just pay you forever. Why would they do that if it doesn't make sense for them financially? They got to look out for themselves too, right? The artist continues and says, yes, this was my job with TheOdd1sOut. Since this is pretty public knowledge now, yes, this was my primary income. I worked 30 to 35 hours weekly for the channel, so the sudden layoff was pretty devastating to say the least. Other artists continue and say, I'm getting a lot of questions about the TheOdd1sOut situation. Please understand that I'm just as lost as you guys are with why exactly he dropped the entire team on a whim. We were left with little to nothing to go off of. We had no idea this would happen. We were not given any heads up about his decision, and neither was anything alluding towards it other than maybe lulls in work. We don't know what's up, and I'd really appreciate it if you do not direct the blame on the team for any of James's decisions. I do not understand why most of you speak in the TheOdd1sOut situation as if you were there for the layoffs too. Contracts were involved, it was abrupt, and done on a whim one afternoon with no prior context. This is not the normal outcome even in freelance settings. And again, just to be fair to the artist, if they were dropped, on a whim, and they had no idea this was about to happen. James probably could have given them like 2 weeks to a month notice and just let them know, hey, I'm kind of going into a new direction. I don't really have need for you guys anymore. Financially, it doesn't really make sense for me to have 20 people on my fucking team. We're not making that much content. We're not pulling in the views that we used to. Income's low. And as a result, I'm going to have less people on my team. So just a heads up that, this is the direction the company's going, and we're probably not going to be doing as much work with you anymore. Yeah, sure, he could have let them know about that, right? Obviously. But again, YouTube is just such a volatile platform, whether you're the creator or whether you're working for creators. Even more so if you're working for creators. Things can change rapidly each month, and you have to constantly be aware of that. And not every artist was, super upset about this whole situation. Like one of these people said, so yes, I was a part of the TheOdd1sOut retiring his team, but I am doing just fine. I still have plenty of animation jobs under my wing, and I ask you to support all the other artists and animators on James' team. See, this makes more sense. This artist obviously understands the volatility of the job, and they know that they got to have other things lined up just in case one of the people hiring them no longer has any need for them. And of course, now that, the TheOdd1sOut is like, enemy number one on Twitter, you've got everyone coming out of the woodworks to shit on him. Although, to be fair to Quentin Reviews here, I do agree. This song that the TheOdd1sOut made with the boy in a band who's been exposed for being a groomer, I think. This song was fucking dog shit. So I do kind of have to agree with him here. But you have other people coming out and saying, the TheOdd1sOut releasing a tribute to Warrior Cats animators and then laying off his entire animation team next week is crazy work. If I see him use a smidge of AI, it's on site. And I love this, right? He hasn't even said or indicated at all that he's going to be using AI for his content. But already you've got all the people that are just paranoid, delusionally paranoid about AI, immediately rushing to that as, preemptively saying that, oh, if he uses AI, it's on site. Really? Like, broadly, I'm not a fan of AI, especially for creative work, but just the paranoia people have when it comes to it, it's just crazy to me. And then, of course, you've got like this reminds me of like Dreamstand tier shit. You've got this person saying trigger warning ableism. So I just found out about the TheOdd1sOut firing all of his animators. Not cool. But everyone seems to have forgotten that he's been problematic. We know this. Do not interact if you support. Do not interact with my tweet if you support the TheOdd1sOut. And what is the ableism we're talking about here? It's him making fun of tone indicators. And why is him making fun of tone indicators so bad? Well, this person explains it right here. Tone indicators are a tool made to help people who struggle with understanding tone through text, mostly created for the neurodivergent community. Making fun of them is kind of like misgendering, racism, 9/11, or the fucking Holocaust, especially against disabled people. Yes, if you make fun of tone indicators, you basically want to Holocaust autistic people who are disabled, apparently. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? And not everyone's canceling the TheOdd1sOut. You have this guy saying, do people think that YouTubers are just supposed to bankrupt themselves to continue paying their staff when their business becomes unprofitable? This person says, unironically, yes. If you are a business owner and you hire people, you are responsible for them. You put your workers before yourself. He should still be paying them. And if he did go bankrupt, he can sit there and ponder why he didn't think to give his staff ample warning time. And that last part, maybe I agree with, right? Maybe he should give them warning if he's about to fire them. But the idea that he should just be indefinitely paying them forever, it's only the delusional levels of cope that I would see on Twitter. Like, literally. The person defending TheOdd1sOut continues and says, lol, I'm sorry, but this is just an incorrect view of the business world. And if you expect your employer to view you as their ethical responsibility to support, you're gonna have a rough time. But then Corey Champion continues and says, hey, so what if I said the business world is inherently evil and corrupt? This is a systematic problem, not just a single YouTuber problem. The person defending TheOdd1sOut continues and says, this is also an incorrect and deleterious worldview. To which this guy concludes by saying, maybe we've been living in an incorrect and deleterious world. Wow. So he's just like a nihilistic retard, just crying about things that he'll never be able to solve. But the TheOdd1sOut himself did put out a fucking statement at the end of this to clarify everything. He said, there's been some discussion online about changes to my team, and I want to clear a few things up. We still have an animation team, and the artists working on all future projects will continue to be credited in the videos they participate in making. Over the years, I've worked with a lot of really talented freelancers on a project-by-project basis, depending on the needs of the video. My team has always fluctuated. Freelance creative work often shifts as projects evolve, and right now I'm working on scaling the team to focus on more condensed roles. Last year, despite having a sizable team, we only released 3 videos. This made it clear that I needed to seriously rework my production process. This was never a reflection of anyone's talent or the work that they did. Many of these people helped build the channel, and I'm grateful for the time, creativity, and effort they put into the projects. This was not an easy thing to do. I had one-on-one conversations with every artist involved and had face-to-face conversations with everyone locally. This was not some cold incentive breakup text. Some of the artists I've worked with have been a part of the channel for a long time, and because of that, I tried to handle these changes in the most respectful way possible. I provided severance packages to all full-time freelancers. This wasn't something I planned on sharing publicly, but since the situation was already brought online, I feel it's important that all the details are understood. It's been frustrating seeing this situation described online in a way that makes this feel or look hostile when I tried my best to make sure my artists were taken care of. Nothing about this was easy. Managing a large creative team comes with a lot of responsibility, and I tried my best to do right by the people I worked closely with. I've also told many of them that I'm happy to serve as a reference for future opportunities because they're talented artists. It would be selfish for me to keep these artists on hold with no projects or consistent work coming their way, so I made a tough decision. I want nothing but what's best for my team. I apologize if this felt sudden. I was extremely hesitant to make this decision myself, but again, with no other jobs to offer at the time, this was the best way forward. I wish I could give work to every artist in the community, but realistically, that just isn't possible. I have linked everyone's socials to this post with the social media and portfolios of the team from my last upload. Any and all other artists can be found in the end card of each of my videos. And then he ends his statement off by just linking to all of the artists that he worked with, like linking to all of their social medias, so you can still find them and, I guess, work with them if you find their work interesting. Every time I upload a video like this or I look at other slot videos, people always make the same joke where they're like, this is the most unemployed drama of all time. But truthfully, this actually is the most unemployed drama of all time. It's not even hacky to say that in this particular case. The people that are mad at the odd ones out have literally never fucking worked a job in their life. And if they have worked a job, they're just bitter retards who think that the world should work around them. Like, I genuinely did not know firing a team of people, in this case, he wasn't even really firing them. If they were freelance workers, then all he did was just choose not to work with them in the future. I didn't know that that's something you could get canceled for, but again, like, leave it to Twitter and YouTube to have no fucking idea, not just how the business world works, but how YouTube itself works. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and sub, and I'll see you guys next time.